we deal with in finance for year 10 is loans. Shh, can you sit down, please? The real terminology for a loan is known as a reducing balance loan. It's important to know that the loan type that we're considering year 10 is reducing balance, because if you do year 12 general maths with me, you'll learn about something called an interest-only loan. So there's two different kinds, but we're only dealing with something called a reducing balance loan. They're the most common method of borrowing money from financial institutions. So what are those? Banks and credit unions. Banks, do you know what the big four banks are in Australia? Bank SA is part of Westpac, that's the big bank. ANZ, what else? Commonwealth and NAB. Those are the big four. They are run for profits because they sell shares of them, and although they will advertise that they care about you owning a house, no, that's BS. What they're there to do is earn profits for their shareholders. So some people like to take out loans with credit unions. So have you heard People's Choice Credit Union? So he's with that. They're not there to earn profits. They only earn profits to keep themselves running, but their purpose is to try to help people with their loans. Okay, so it's up to you when you grow up to decide if you want to go with the big banks. Why would you go with a big bank? They're kind of reliable. Okay, because they've existed for a long time. There's heaps of money in there in those banks. Credit union, not for profit, so less sleazy. But do you trust them or not? That's for you to decide. You do the research. So what is a loan? In the situation of a loan, the borrower needs a large sum of money that they don't currently have. They borrow the required principal from the bank and they agree to pay it back along with interest with regular payments over a period of time. So what the financial institutions do is calculate the interest on the reducing balance of the loan, which is reducing because you're paying it off chunk by chunk, but your regular repayments pay the principal and the interest at the same time. This is why it's also called a principal and interest loan. So that's background, but really what you need to be able to handle is this. Mathematically, if the bank is giving you a giant chunk of money, what's PV going to be? Positive. It came into your pocket. PMT, you're paying the bank little chunks at a time. So what sign is that going to be? Negative, because it's coming from you going to the bank. What do you want to owe a bank at the end? 0. So FB is going to be 0. Can you get that highlighted section now to explain the mathematics behind it? Go. A couple of minutes. You can think of a loan as like a reverse investment. When you're making an investment, you're putting money in the bank and you're letting it grow. With a loan, what's happening? Who's investing
money in you?
The bank is investing in you because you're going to pay them back more than what you borrowed in the first place. You're growing their money. So we'll do one sort of example that's appropriate for year 10 and then I'll stop the recording. And then I want to do a real life one to show you why I think it's really important that I do the finance this way, because you're young, you might as well start thinking about how you're going to sort your life out so you can buy a house, okay? Because it's tough. When we do the maths, it looks not pretty. Hopefully you've got that. Okay, there is a different formula for the interest on a loan. Because when you're investing money in the bank, who's earning interest? Are you earning interest? The bank's earning interest. With a loan, who's earning interest? You or the bank? The bank's earning interest, you're paying them interest. So the old formula is not going to work. So this was the old formula. For the interest of an investment, it's what your money grew to, take away the money that you put in. But with a loan, this is what the interest is going to be. The interest on a loan is the total repayments that you made, take away the debt that you took on in the first place. Okay? So this is the formula. Don't worry about that. I shouldn't have put this in blue. Ignore this. This is the formula you need for the interest on a loan. I'll scroll that up so it's in the middle. The interest on a loan is PMT times by N, which is the total number of payments you made. Take away PV, take away FV in brackets. Can you get that down, please? Don't worry about this starred thing. That was just because the year 12s are a little uppity and they didn't trust me at that point in time. But the book doesn't actually contain that formula. That's been developed over time. I want to give you a formula that works in all cases. So this formula, please, here. Okay, let's do an example of that maths. Ryan takes out a 10 grand loan to be repaid over 3 years at 9.6 per annum interest compounding monthly. Find the monthly repayments. Hence, calculate the total interest charged on the loan. And then C, this is a little advanced one. I want us to try this. See, let's see if we can work out how to find the remaining debt after 1 year of payments. So, in the notes that you've taken previously, in a loan, so N, I, PV, PMT, FV, PY, CY. In this loan situation, what's the interest rate going to be? 9.6. PV. In a loan, the bank is giving you a large chunk of money, so your PV is going to be what sign? Positive. So what is that large chunk of money that you're 10 grand? So it's going to be positive 10,000. The question is asking you to calculate the monthly repayment. So PMT is what you're solving for. Put a star next to that. What do you want to owe the bank at the end of your loan? Zero. How often is this situation compounding? 12. 12 times a year. PY is 12. How often am I paying? Also 12. Now I can work out what N is, because how long is the loan for?
3 years.
3 years times by how many times is it happening per year? 12. So the top is going to be, I'm recording this, thank you. You're just going to, I'll be able to roast my year 12s as well. You're just telling me the answer. When I ask them to answer my questions, it's like tumbleweeds. Nothing. I wasn't even asking, you just told me. All right, that's well done. So I solve for this. How do I access TVM Solver? Apps. Finance, TVM, 36, 9.6, 10 grand. I don't know, that's what I'm finding. I don't want to owe anything 12, and as you get used to this, you'll see that it automatically tries to make them the same. How do I solve for something? Alpha. Enter. So that tells you that to pay off this loan, this person would have to pay $320.80 every, how often? Every month, to owe the bank nothing after 3 years. That is the loan situation. Can you get that example, please? And then we'll do B and C. Alright, B is asking you to find the interest on this loan. Someone remind me what the formula for interest on a loan was? Good. So the PMT was $320.80 times by how many payments were made? 36. Take away in brackets 10,000. Take away. What did they get the debt down to? 0. So interest on the loan. How do I quit out of this so I don't close it? Second quit. 320.8 times by 36, and I can trust this calculator to do bed maths properly. Bracket 10,000. Take nothing. So for the privilege of borrowing $10,000 and paying it back over the course of 3 years, you're going to have to pay $1,548.80 more than what you really borrowed. Because you didn't have that money in the first place. That's how loans work, okay? C is an asterisk. Get B first, and then C is an asterisk question. You don't need to be able to do this for year 10, but you've helped me roast before. Let's see if you can help me roast again. Apps, finance. If we can understand the story that this TVM solver is telling you, I think half of you would be ready to do general maths in year 12 straight away. What is this TVM solver saying is occurring? I can tell that it's a loan straight away. Why? Because PV is positive. I was given money by the bank. Do I know what the interest rate was?
Yes.
Do I know how many payments were made?
Yes.
Do I know what I got the debt down to at the end of those 36 payments?
Yes.
Do I know how much I'm paying every month?
Yes.
Good. So I've got this thing set up that's telling me the story of paying off the whole loan. This question is saying, what is the outstanding balance after 1 year of repayments? What is my debt going to be after 3 years of repayments? If I've only been paying for 1 year, am I going to have zero debt? So what is the only thing that's going to change in this TVM solver to represent 1 year of making payments? I know I want to see. Yes? Good. What would it be for 1 year? Nope. Still can't type. 12. What is going to change now? Is it going to be... What's the only thing that's going to change? Because I changed I haven't paid it off for 3 years, yes? Sorry? FV, yes. It's not going to be zero anymore because I haven't been paying it for 3 years. Alpha, enter. So what is that saying? If I'd established this loan, but I've only been paying 12 payments of the original amount, am I still going to have a debt?
Yeah.
Does it make sense that this is negative? Because that's money owed to the bank. It's not money that I've got, okay? You just answered a year 12 freaking question, okay? Because you understand how TVM solver works. So actually, I would like you to get that example because that may be useful for people doing general. So I'll just go n equals 12, I equals 9.6, PV equals 10 grand, PMT equals negative 320, 80. FV is what we solved for, negative $6,979.84, rounded to 2 decimal points. PY is 12, CY is also 12. Therefore, so you'd write, therefore, remaining debt $6,979.84. I'll make all those blue to be consistent. Right. If you get, If you get all of that, can you please be working on exercise 8A, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 from the 12 General Maths book?